Not a lot to be critical of with the Indianapolis Colts offense. That offense is humming along quite nicely, second since 1988 in points per drive, behind only the 2007 New England Patriots. That's a pretty serious mark to be chasing if you're the Colts, and they're only like a tenth of a point behind. So the Colts offense is humming right along. Bob Cooter, the architect of that offense, and really a guy who is working. We tend to look at football as schematics. Football's about people. Bob Cooter starts by talking about Braden Smith, who we've all found out over the last year is a human being first.
Yeah, it's a really cool story. Fun to be a part of. Fun to watch him playing ball out there. He's playing good ball. He's having fun doing it. The tackle position in this league comes with some challenges every week. It's a fun physical position to play, and he's been really playing well. It's been fun to watch him sort of go through the season and go through each week and play with some physicality and have fun playing with his teammates and be a part of an offensive line that's playing really good football right now. So we're really happy for Braden, and gonna be fun to keep playing, fun to keeping an eye on him.
And then one follow up: what have you learned about Braden, the person, through your time together, just working with him?
Yeah, often a man of few words. He goes about his business. He's working on his craft. He's looking for edges in how to prepare himself for an opponent, or work on his body, or work on his sort of blocking techniques and all those things. A pro's pro, handling his business around the building, and somebody as a coach that you really root for. So we've been been a real thrill to work with him here for a few years, and great to see him playing good ball and like I said, having fun playing with his teammates.
Steven.
Hey, Jim Bob. Daniel has obviously been relatively aggressive this year with his throw. I mean, his yards per attempt is really impressive and all that. But the balance between that and not turning it over is obviously really impressive. How's he done that?
Yeah,
you have to put the ball at risk to do that sometimes, right? I mean,
it's always usually you have to give something to get something, right? To push the ball down the field. There is a little bit more risk involved typically. Now there are different situations and, different plays versus different coverages and all that good stuff that I can always talk about. But he's done such a great job of identifying the situations to be aggressive and identifying when it's not maybe smart to be aggressive. And when it is, when the opportunity to push the thing down the field is there in a sort of controllable enough manner, he's taking that thing. And when it's not there, he's been really good about checking it down to the back or getting to his second read. And that's, the fine art of quarterbacking a little bit in this league is managing, your aggressive shot, or even just that primary read that we may really work on during the week, or really think's going to have a great chance to get open during the week. And you want to make that throw down the field and get all those yards and maybe score the touchdown. Being able to say no to that's a really big key to doing a nice job as a quarterback progressing through play. So he's doing a great job of that. It starts with his preparation. It starts with his understanding of what we're trying to accomplish on a play against a defense, and ultimately by the end of the week, understanding sort of what different coverages, what different looks, what different pressures the defense could bring at him to make him adjust. And he's done such a phenomenal job of that thus far.
Cool, thanks.
Joel.
What does it do for you guys to have a center with the athleticism and the movement of Tanner Bortolini?
Yeah, Bort's it's great. It's great. Every lineman has a different set of strengths, and within the center position, there's some weeks where you're going to be sort of have a head up nose a lot more often. You're going to be covered a lot more often. There's some weeks where you're going to be uncovered a lot more often. And each guy is able to use his strengths to sort of play his best versus those types of looks. But to have Bort, have the athleticism to be able to move around like he does, it opens up some opportunities for us either as run game planners, as screen game planners, in play action protection. He gives you some freedom. I think Shane mentioned it, but right, he did such a great job on that tight end screen to Tyler. And, we like that play all around. It's been a good football play. But when you get man coverage, it's a little bit feast or famine. You got a chance to maybe hit a big one if that center can get that block and really be athletic enough to go get that block. But defenses, they like to take their shot on getting that sort of negative yardage play on that type of look as well. So it all comes down to, hey, Bort, you got to do such a great job getting out, identifying the look, and getting that block to get the thing started. And then, Tyler and all the guys downfield kind of did the rest. But Bort's been really good, really, encouraging. I think he's having a lot of fun out there. If you guys ever watch him running around after some of the touchdowns, he's having a lot of fun playing ball. He's showing off some of that athleticism after some of those scores, and he's been a treat to coach, and looking forward to some more good ball out of him.
Nathan.
Jim Bob, outside Daniel, this offense has been basically entirely drafted by the Colts organization. You've been here obviously now a couple of years and seen these guys develop through the system, and some of them even get their first shots to get some elevated playing time this year. What stands out as you maybe stand back through 8 weeks? What stands out about this offense's progression year over year outside of obviously the big addition of Daniel at the quarterback position?
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of guys that really work hard at their craft and get better and better and better as their careers go along, which is what you really hope your players will do. We'll try to set up, a system to highlight their strengths, and we'll try to set up maybe an off-season, a training camp development system to get them better. But ultimately, those guys got to put the work in. They got to work really hard at it. We've mentioned just a ton of those guys over the years that have put in the work, and they just keep getting better. Young players that become sort of veteran players, and, a fourth-year guy's a lot better than he was his first or second year. That's what you want. When you do draft a guy, you expect him to get better and better. So that's a really good thing for our organization, for our offense, that guys are getting better year one to year two to year three. It makes the future exciting because, they're just going to keep working. These guys work. We bring in, good guys that work really, really hard, and that's paying off by how much they're improving as players and how much they're taking advantage of their work habits, giving them an edge on Sunday. So been a really fun group to coach, and we got a lot more work to do. But I would look for a lot of these guys that are younger to keep developing, keep getting better. I hope you're asking me questions like this next year, 2 years from now. Guys are putting in the work, and they deserve a lot of praise for the level of player they are becoming, and how they've gotten themselves there and how they're working to do it.
And outside the historic points per drive stat that you guys, I know is getting a lot of attention, what's another stat or two that you look at that you feel like best maybe displays or explains the success that this offense is having on the field through 8 weeks?
Yeah, I've got a real weakness for the red zone. You get down there and you want to score 7 points. You don't want to score 3. So we're working every possible avenue to do that. Run game, pass game, whether it's scheme, whether it's personnel. Each week, an opponent, presents different challenges. Some of these teams, you think you have a good handle on certain pass coverages they might run, and we put some plays together or some ideas together that attack those coverages. But then it's not there, and the guy's got to make a play. The guy's got to scramble around. Josh Downs had a great one this week where, we had a play in Friday's practice where we sort of designed a quarterback scramble. We said, hey, we need to work a QB scramble here just to kind of get a red zone scramble rep. Josh Downs got open. We kind of worked out very similar to the game rep because that does happen, right? In this league, these guys switch coverages around. They try to keep you off guard. We may have a play we really, really like, and gosh, that defensive coordinator switched his coverage call around. The guy's got to go make a play. And Daniel and Josh did such a great job on that play. The other guys were really working also on that sort of scramble opportunity. The answer for me is the red zone. I'll I love when we get down there. I'm really excited to do everything we can to find those 7 points and keep the kicker off the field till the extra point.
Awesome. Thanks.
We'll go with Chap, and then Jake will be our last question today.
Jim Bob, with all the numbers you've got again, points per drive, scoring, first in yards, top 5 in all the passing stats, how quirky is it that you haven't had a 100-yard receiver?
A little bit of a statistical quirk. That's probably a good word to use, Chap. Those guys are doing a really good job. We try to make sure everybody's got a role in the game plan, and Daniel's really good at spreading the ball around. So, the ball sort of comes and goes as it goes. Sometimes the defense is able to dictate some things with coverage, but I think it says a lot about the strength of the group as a whole in the pass game. It's been a good year of the ball getting spread around, guys making plays when their number's called. Some of it's just a little statistical oddity. I'm sure it'll happen at some point, but I think the guys are doing such a good job of playing team football that they're happy for their teammates when they're getting catches, and we're hoping a defense, when we break the huddle, the defense looks out and sees a bunch of guys that are threats in different manners, and that's what our guys have earned. We got a lot more work to do. We got a lot more to earn, but I'm sure all those statistical oddities will offset at some point. But like I said, right now a lot of those guys in the pass game are playing really good football, so the stats will work out for them.
Do you have somebody in your ear telling you, "Hey, this guy's got this," or "Jonathan Taylor's got this, he needs this," or do you not want to know that?
Well, I kind of like not knowing, but the good folks at Lucas Oil, they got all those jumbotrons and signs, and you can see all sorts of stuff up there. So no, we have access to all the information that we need, and sometimes we're aware of something within a game, or we're aware of something. Try to stay aware of certain things in guys' careers, but no, we try to just go play ball, and I try to help Shane as much as I can on game day, and you like to let the chips fall where they may, but sometimes you keep an eye on something.
Appreciate it.
And last question, Jake.
Yeah, Shane tells us a lot about the things you do for him behind the scenes that he just doesn't, he's not always able to kind of handle being the head coach and how much you do. And there's some offensive coordinators who kind of get like instant gratification from like a play call or something like that in the game. With all that you do kind of behind the scenes, what is it that kind of brings you either that validation or the quick gratification out on the field? Like what immediately brings to your mind, like, that's great, that worked?
Yeah, sometimes it might be a play that we have, within each weekly game plan, which within each week sort of set of meetings and practices, there's usually a few plays where we have to have really intense discussions, and we have to go back and forth. And do I think this is best? And you might think this is best. I'm not saying me and Shane, it could be the whole staff. Like, we may kind of go back and forth. How should we do this week? We think this, we think that. Let's pull up the clips. Let's talk about it. Let's sort of brainstorm better ideas. Sometimes we go kind of into the weeds a little bit schematically, which is fun for us, and sort of to see one of those things take fruition on game day and work, in a positive manner, gives you some validation, because you have those, you sort of wring your hands, you sort of pull your hair out thinking, should we do this? Is this good? Is this bad? Should we do this another way? And we've had some of those plays this year where, I think early in the week I've had some ideas that were okay ideas, and then I talked with another coach or two, and they really helped me refine those things. Or, Shane had a better idea to add on top of the play, and all of a sudden the thing works and you're so excited. So for us to be able to collaborate and, have those discussions and have those, kind of go and do those research projects on how a defense might play a certain coverage, or what kind of pass play you think really might work in this situation. When it works, it makes you feel good because it validates the work.
You want to give a good example of one that worked out in your guys' favor?
Well, we hit, we were at the 10-yard line or so against Arizona. We hit Tyler Warren on a little shallow route, touchdown, and that was a play early in the week that was on the call sheet in a certain manner, and it just wasn't quite all the way right. We had to tweak that thing. Quite frankly, I had an idea that was just okay, and then kind of sat in Tom Manning's office. Tom's a really good resource, especially when it comes to tight ends catching touchdowns. He'll tell you all you need to know. But he really helped me sort of work through that thing and watch the clips. And, we kind of drew a couple things on the board, went back and forth, and we left that office with another idea. And we took it to Shane, and he's immediately was like, well, that's a great idea. We should do that. He saw it immediately once we said it. So those types of things happen. They're probably happening right now down the hall with other guys. It's part of what we do as we go try to, find these plays that are going to work. So our guys are in great position to go make good plays. But it's really gratifying to us as coaches because, we do put in a lot of hours. We put in a lot of work. We enjoy working with each other. Sometimes we get in, these little arguments about a play, and you want to think that you know what you're talking about and kind of talk through those things, and to see one of those things work gives you some validation. So
that's Jim Bob Cooter. And how fun would it be to be in the room and be chopping it up with these guys, the offensive staff, and say, look, I really think that Tyler Warren coming across on a drag route, I think that's going to be open if we block it up this way. If we run the other receivers on these routes, you got a real chance to pop one. How much fun would it be every single Sunday to see that thing pop? I think that'd be awesome. Jim Bob Cooter having a lot of fun coaching the NFL's best offense.